Gotcha. And let's shift over to the World Cup qualifiers, right? So I think that the big headline for me from the World Cup qualifiers is obviously the North Macedonia upset over Germany, right? They beat them 2-1. Germany, obviously, as we've talked before we got on air, has not been quite the same team as they have been in the past, where they've usually been at least a top five team in World Cup situations, even, getting into the championship game of World Cups in the past, right? But I think it's just especially interesting because Germany hasn't lost a World Cup qualifying game in 20 years, and losing to North Macedonia is definitely an absolute shocker. Talk
Mhm.
about let's break it down from a few angles, right? I think the first one is, what made North Macedonia so successful in that game, and allowing them to pull off this major upset.
Yeah, well, they were very, very good defensively, and they limited the chances that Germany had. They made it really hard for them to break them down. I feel like this North Macedonia team is more of a unit than, or like more of a team than Germany. Um, like I imagine a lot of these Macedonia players have, they aren't playing in Europe. They aren't playing on the big teams. A lot of these guys I feel will have played together for a while, and or they all play in Macedonia, or they all play in the same league. With this German team, they're kind of all spread out, throughout Germany, throughout Europe, and it's really hard to build that team. You only have a week or two to get ready for these games. So I think North Macedonia would definitely well prepared. They're a unit. They're very good defensively, and they took their chances when they had them. And Germany, I mean, they've just been really poor. Honestly, since the um, since their game in the UEFA Nations League against Spain, they lost 6-0, and it looks like they haven't really like responded since then. And yeah, it's just a shame because they have such quality players. They have like Timo Werner up top, one of the fastest strikers in in Europe right now, and you know he's missing open goals and or really easy chances. And that's you don't like if I'm the Germany head coach, I need Timo Werner scoring. Like, he's supposed to be one of the best strikers out there. And you got like Leroy Sané, the Bayern stud. Like what happened? Like where was he? Serge Gnabry also Bayern, and this Germany team is just like really really good. But as a group, it's not clicking, and North Macedonia just took advantage of that, and they got the win. And congrats to them.
So before I get into my second question or point, you brought up something that I think is interesting to talk about. The fact of you were saying the North Macedonia guys are more collectively in sync, right? Because they're not playing on all these different teams around Europe. Do you think while the different leagues in soccer are fantastic because you get a chance to see a lot of great quality players compete, do you think that also hurts the national teams that these top players play for? Because since they're not having a chance to play with each other as often, I'm not saying every case, but in certain cases, right? Germany's an example, right? But do you think that also hurts? Like, I think it hurts the USA to be frank, because a lot of these guys are playing for different teams and not building that chemistry, right? At least like I know, like Clint Dempsey and Tim Howard, played in certain, in different situations in the past, right? So talk a little bit about, do you think that does have an effect on these national teams and could contribute to them not performing at their highest when they have to?
Yeah, and I think honestly, the United States is an example of that the last World Cup they didn't qualify, and they had players around in like Germany, or in England, and then they tried to you know they tried to work as a team and it didn't quite work out. Um, but then you have teams like Spain, or I guess Spain's not really a great example. They have because Spain's also another team that has players playing all around Europe. But I feel like with Spain, you know, there's just there's like a DNA. Like once you're coming into a system where you're going to be passing a lot, and a lot of teams in Europe are about that. So I guess Spain's national team's philosophy on like style of play, I guess, will suit players coming in from various clubs in Europe. But with the United States, I'm not quite sure what their what their preferred style of play is, and it didn't quite work out for them the last World Cup. But this World Cup, even though they have players playing all around Europe, they have really good young players who can really make a difference. And if they can work as a unit together and win games, we'll see the United States in the World Cup. And yeah, they have a really good team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go further than most people expected.
If you like that clip, subscribe to Shred Takes Podcasts for more content and videos uploaded on this channel.